So there's this stat that I come back to all the time as I think about what we're trying to do in this big project of giving kids everything they need to build a meaningful life. And we're looking at three significant pillars: identity, purpose, and relationships or belonging. And in those three pillars, how do you get those across? How do you help kids have the right foundation? We think it's through questions. We want every single kid to be able to answer a set of questions that fit under each one of those categories for themselves and be given the opportunity throughout their teenage years and on the journey to young adulthood to be able to come up with their own answers, good answers for those questions. And the one we're working on today is this: who guides your life? Who guides you? Other versions of that would be, who are your mentors or who are your role models? And the stat that I come back to comes from the Search Institute. You might have heard it if you've heard me talk before. Every kid needs 5 adults in their life. 5 adults in their life who care about them, believe in them, and invest in them. 5 adults that they don't just know from afar, although that's good. 5 adults who aren't just connected because they're, their coach or their teacher, but 5 adults where they have an interaction, a relationship with them. And to be honest, I can't think of, growing up for me, any adults outside my family that I had a real relationship with. Now, there were transactional interactions that I would have with coaches or teachers or neighbors or family friends, small talk conversations, transactional about what time practice is, when the paper's due, those sorts of things. But an actual relationship for me didn't happen until midway through college. And that changed my life. So many kids walk through their teenage years without any trusted adult who is engaging with them, any trusted adult that they can talk to about life outside of their parents. But if they find one, it's a huge difference. And the best research says you need 5. It's a tricky one. And primarily because as parents, we recognize and feel it, that our kids start to pull away from us. They start around the teenage adolescent years, they start to pull away from us. I remember the first day of middle school for our oldest kid, our son, who until that point, he and I were bros. Like, I coached all of his teams. He mimicked everything I did. I would walk him to school every single morning, play with his friends. Like, I was cool dad. The actual first day of middle school, we're walking to campus. Both my wife and I, mom and dad, are walking him in. That was even in the email. Walk them to the front gate and then say goodbye and let them go in. It felt like this big deal. It felt like we're sending our kid off to college. And we're at the intersection to cross the street to go onto campus. And our son turns to us, both of us, and says, "Are you guys both coming?" And I, because of my relationship, our history, being the cool dad, I turned to my wife with like a look of sadness, like, "It's okay, honey. I'll take, go wait in the car for us." And instead, I look back at my son and he is staring at me. And he says 2 words: "Sorry, Dad." And I externally was fine. Gave him a fist bump. "Hey, rock this first day. See you later. Hope it goes well." Internally, I just melted. I crumbled on the way to the car. I just started crying. There goes my little boy, my little buddy. And it's natural. I've learned that. That's not rebellion. That's not a sign that we're not good parents. It's not a sign that we have bad kids, or it's not worrisome. It's development. It's natural. And they're trying to figure themselves out. They're trying to figure out who they are, how they fit in outside of our own family. They're really trying to find another tribe to belong to. They're looking for acceptance from their peers. So it's this whole thing that happens. So if they're pulling away from us, the parents, who is going to draw near to them? And that's where so much of our work for Youth School for the past 12 years has been targeted to schools. Our kids are at school so much. And do our teachers and the staff on campus see themselves as co-developers of our kids? Or is it just limited to their academic job and expectations to teach this subject or to coach this sport? Do the adults on this campus see that part of their role, as our children are pulling away from us, do they see their role and opportunity to step in and be a part of raising up our kids, helping them name what's important, help them see who they are, help them find a problem to solve in this world? Some of them, the best of them, do, but too often, and I know this because I work with kids and I work in schools, Most kids do not have that experience by anybody, not to mention 5. If your kid happens to have 5 caring adults they have relationships with, they're much more likely to do well in school, much more likely to go to school, much less likely to engage in risky behaviors. They're much more emotionally resilient. They have a much higher sense of self, self-esteem, boosts their mental health. It helps them be more successful in career. They have greater opportunities to gain good jobs. They earn more money over a lifetime. And it's in that lens, this concept, this question of who guides you, who are your mentors, becomes a problem to solve for us as parents. And here's the good news. We can solve it. It might not require you to do what I've been doing, which is going inside schools, meeting principals, creating a professional development training program for teachers inside schools to help give them the framework and the expectations that they're supposed to be personally involved with the kids that are coming, not just through the English class or math or whatever, but also to be personally invested. That's what I'll take care of that. What you can do looks a little bit more like duct tape. It's pulling people together, pulling people into your home, bringing your kids to them so that they can have conversations. It's putting your kids in the opportunity in the spaces to have conversations, back and forth, mutual discussions, not just, hey, what are your summer plans, or how's school, or how's baseball, or how's lacrosse, but bring adults to your world, into your home, bring your kids to them, and facilitate a conversation. Hey, Charlie, what were you saying the other day? I'd love for my son to hear about what you're working on. Hey, tell my daughter how we first met. Do you remember how we first became friends? Hey, I was thinking that story the other day when you and I were both in college and we went on that trip. Would you tell my kids about that story? That's the start of conversations. That's the start of our kids seeing the opportunity to connect with other adults that we can do. So more practical ways. I have specifically with my son grabbed a couple adults, my friends, and said, could we do something together throughout a year, over the years, to have conversations where we go to a baseball game together, we go out to a meal together, we go play golf, we go do something together where it's naturally conducive for relationship to happen. And one side of that relationship is the actual conversation that these adults have with my kid. The other part is my kid seeing me have a friendship, have a conversation with my friend. It is absolute magic, a deposit of goodness for our kids that we can intentionally do all the time. Too often we send our kids away. Hey, we're having friends over. Go to your room. We're going to their house. You better be on your best behavior. Don't say anything. Instead, let's invite our kids into the conversation. Let's invite them to the table. Don't make it weird, super intentional. Make it natural. And then over time, we can start asking our kids. I tell my son, particularly the oldest, I want you to be able to see in the people that I know. I want you to be able to see yourself in them. I want you to see yourself in their career. I want you to see yourself in how they live out their lives, how they live out their values, how they live out their faith, how they live out making an impact. Because I know it's not going to all be through me. I want you to have a variety of perspectives from these different people so that you can find yourself as a mirror through all them. And also, I want you, when you're at the age of becoming an adult and setting out for life on your own, I want you to be able to look to those people as a part of your world. And that will not happen unless we make it happen. There's a young lad, he graduated college not too long ago. I had the opportunity through youth school to mentor him and take him through one of our programs when he was in middle school. Now, years later, and that was because his mom wanted him to, not because he signed up, because his mom wanted him to. Years later, he's now in his career and a sales job. I was so delighted that he texted me, followed up with me over email and LinkedIn to have a conversation, to connect and share the thing he's doing professionally with me. I mean, it made my day, made my week. Like, this is so cool that was once a kid and I was just an adult involved in this kid's life for a short time. Now we have a professional adult-like relationship. It's fantastic. So imagine the goodness Imagine the benefits. Imagine the assets that your kids could have if we're intentional with them, which we can be. So take them to the opportunities. Make it a little uncomfortable. Of course, it's always going to be a little uncomfortable. We might feel like, they don't know how to talk to adults. We might feel like, our friends don't know how to talk to them. That's okay. It's about the reps. It's about the opportunities. And if you get a chance to have a conversation with a teacher or a coach, or maybe a youth worker, a youth pastor your kid's involved with, let them know that you have a real strong value for them being personally invested in your kid's life. To ask them questions, to get to know them, to share life together, to help them see parts of themselves that they can't see on their own, especially through us. So, big question is, to the kid, who guides you? Who guides your life? I want my kids to have multiple answers for that question. So, we'll be back. We're wrapping up soon the 30 critical questions every kid must answer to build a meaningful life. We're almost there. Thanks for sticking with us. If you want to share these episodes with other people, please do so. We also have a bunch of resources on the website, not to mention curriculum and courses for you or for your school. And we'll see you soon.